There's a mower sitting behind my shop with 211 hours on the Japanese engine and 41 years on the American deck under it, and it still starts on the first pull. Every mechanic I know has got one just like it, sitting out behind whatever shop they work at, and not one of us bought it off the same shelf we send you to when you walk through our front door asking what to get. So, what do the guys who fix these things every day actually wheel home for their own yard? I want to tell you about a Tuesday last spring. A woman came into my shop pulling a mower behind her minivan on a little trailer, and she was near tears. The mower was 2 seasons old, bright red, had the sticker still half stuck to the hood. The engine had seized solid, and when I pulled the plug and looked inside, I could see why. Thin aluminum bore, no sleeve, run dry for maybe 10 minutes on a hot day, while her son mowed the back 40 feet of grass behind the pool. That's all it took. 10 minutes. Meanwhile, out in my back lot, sits a commercial walk behind I bought used back when I was 26 years old. 41 years on the deck. I've swapped the engine on it exactly once. It has cut more grass than that woman's mower will cut in 10 lifetimes, and it is still out there right now, ready to go. I used to be the guy handing people the wrong mower. Early on, my own uncle asked me what to buy for his half-acre. I pointed him at a shiny orange one on the end cap at the hardware store, because it had the most horsepower listed on the box and the best price. 18 months later, he called me, mad as a hornet, standing over a dead engine in 90-degree heat. That call changed how I talk to people. I stopped reading the box. I started looking at what was actually screwed together underneath the paint. I told that woman the truth standing right there in my shop. I said the engine was gone, not worth fixing, and she'd be better off putting that money towards something built different. She looked at me like I'd told her the sky was a different color than she'd always been taught. Nobody had ever explained it to her that way before. She'd always thought a mower was a mower. Red one, green one, doesn't matter. You push it or ride it, and it cuts grass. Nobody had ever told her that 2 mowers sitting side by side on a showroom floor, both painted up nice, both running when you turn the key, could have a 10-year gap between them and how long they'll actually last. Here's the thing, nobody at the store is going to tell you. The average family buys a new mower every 3 to 4 years. Not because they want a new mower, because the old one is dead and not worth fixing. That's the business. A mower built to just clear the warranty and no further isn't a mistake. It's the plan. Every part on it is priced to survive 2 summers and quietly die in the 3rd, right when you've stopped thinking about the receipt. 2-year warranty, dead engine in year 3. That is not bad luck. Write that down if you have to. That timing is not an accident, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's never one big thing that kills a cheap mower either. It's a dozen small things, all built down to the same low price at the same time. A plastic fuel tank that gets brittle and cracks after 3 summers baking in a hot shed. A fuel line that isn't rated for today's gas blends, so it swells and clogs the carburetor. A pull cord spring stamped out thin enough to save 4 cents a unit, snapping in the 2nd season right when you need it most on a Saturday morning. None of those parts fail, because somebody made a mistake. They fail because somebody in an office decided exactly how long they should last, and priced them to hit that number, and not 1 summer past it. So while the store sells you the shiny orange one, what do we actually park in our own garages? Quick word before I go further, the old methods my family uses, there is more of it than fits in any one video. I gathered the whole of it into a book you can buy in our pinned comment below. The book is the long version. If you want it, it is there. I will not mention it again. Here's what most people get wrong before they even walk into the store. They look at the horsepower number on the box. They look at the color. They look at whether it's got cup holders and a phone mount, like they're buying a golf cart and not a machine with spinning steel blades under it. None of that tells you a single thing about whether the machine survives 5 years of real use. Here's what actually tells you. The gauge of steel in the deck, the kind of bearing holding the spindle, and what's really inside that engine block, not what the sticker on it says. And that horsepower number I mentioned, let's kill that one for good. What's printed on the box is usually a gross number, tested on a bench with no muffler and no air filter bolted on, nowhere close to what that engine actually delivers once it's sitting under a deck doing real work. 2 mowers can list the exact same horsepower, and one will bog down and stall the second you push it into thick, wet grass while the other just keeps chewing. The number on the box was never designed to help you compare 2 machines, honestly. It was designed by a marketing department to look good next to the mower parked 1 aisle over, nothing more than that. Most consumer mowers, the kind lined up 20 deep at the big box store, run a stamped deck. Thin sheet steel, pressed into shape by a machine, usually somewhere around 26 or 28 gauge. Sounds fine until you hit a sprinkler head or a buried rock, and the deck cracks right at the spindle mount because stamped steel that thin has no give left in it. Pair that with an engine built down to a price. Aluminum bore, no cast iron sleeve, plastic carburetor float. It'll run great for 2 summers. That's exactly how long it's built to run great. Now walk into a commercial dealer, the kind that sells to landscapers who mow 40 hours a week and can't afford a callback. The deck is 10 or 12 gauge steel, fabricated and welded, not stamped out of a die. It flexes almost nothing, and bolted onto it, more often than any other engine in the country, is something out of Japan. A Honda GX series, a Kawasaki FX series. Cast iron sleeve in the cylinder, forged crankshaft. A mechanical governor that holds the blade speed steady, even when you drag it through thick, wet grass. Landscapers don't care where an engine was built. They care whether it starts on a Monday in July after sitting all weekend, every single time, because a mower that doesn't start costs them a paying account. That's the whole secret, right there, and it's not really a secret at all once you say it out loud. American mower, Japanese engine, the best fabricated decks in this country come out of commercial builders who make machines for guys whose whole paycheck depends on the thing not breaking. And for going on 40 years, the most bulletproof small engines on the planet have come out of Honda and Kawasaki because they were built for the exact same customer. Put those two things together, and you've got the machine sitting behind every mechanic's shop in America. And it is almost never the machine sitting on the showroom floor at the big box store. I've got a landscaper customer, runs 6 crews, 40 mowers total, and every single one of them is sitting on a Honda or Kawasaki engine. I asked him once if he'd ever try anything else to save a little money on the fleet. He looked at me like I'd asked if he wanted to lose a customer on purpose. Consumer engines usually carry a 2 or 3 year warranty because that's about how long the manufacturer expects them to hold up under light use. A Honda GX or Kawasaki FX is rated by hours, not years. And a well-maintained one routinely clears 2,000 hours or more, which for a landscaper is a decade of daily work, and for a homeowner is a lifetime. We don't shop for the shiny complete package. We shop for the deck and the drivetrain, and the engine either comes with it or we put one on ourselves. So here's how you actually go find one, step by step, the same way I taught my own nephew last summer. First thing, read the block, not the badge. A decal can be peeled off one engine and stuck onto another in about 30 seconds, and I have caught sellers doing exactly that more times than I can count. The real proof is stamped or cast right into the engine block itself, a model and serial code you can look up before you ever hand anyone money. If the decal says Honda and the casting doesn't match a real Honda code, walk away. That one habit alone will save you from the single most common trick in the used mower business. Second, the magnet test. Carry a little refrigerator magnet in your pocket when you go look at a mower. Run it along the deck. On a real commercial deck, it grabs hard and stays put because the steel is thick and solid clear through. Then press your thumb near where the spindle bolts on. It shouldn't move. On a thin stamped deck, you'll feel a little give under your thumb. Sometimes you can even see a faint flex when you press. That flex is the crack that hasn't happened yet. Third, check the spindle wobble. Grab the blade with a gloved hand, not the engine, the blade, and try to rock it side to side. A commercial spindle runs on tapered roller bearings, and there is almost no play in it at all, even on a machine that's 10 years old. A consumer deck runs cheaper sealed ball bearings, and by the end of the first season, you can already feel a little wobble creeping in. That wobble is where uneven cuts and blown spindles start. Fourth, buy where the landscapers sell, not where the families shop. Commercial equipment dealers take trade-ins constantly because working crews upgrade their fleet every few years. Municipal auctions sell off retired mowers from parks departments. A 5 to 8 year old commercial walk-behind or zero-turn, properly maintained with a Honda or Kawasaki engine still running strong, runs somewhere between $1,200 and $3,500 depending on your area. That one mower, bought once, will outlast 3 of the consumer mowers a family buys new over that same stretch of years, and it'll cut a better lawn while it's at it. A dealer trade-in usually costs a little more than the exact same mower found through a private listing, but you're paying for a mechanic like me to have already gone through it, so for a first-timer, that extra money is cheap insurance while you're still learning what to check yourself. And fifth, the move almost nobody outside a shop knows about. If you already own a good American deck, one of the Toro, Exmark, Skag, or Ferris frames, and the engine that came on it finally gives out after years of honest work, you don't throw the whole machine away. You repower it. Pull the dead engine off. Bolt on a Honda GX390 or a Kawasaki FX600 using a universal mounting kit that runs $60 to $120. The engine itself runs $700 to $900 new. Total cost is a fraction of a new mower, and what you end up with is a deck that has already proven it can survive a decade, now paired fresh with an engine built to survive another one right behind it. I've done this repower on my own equipment 3 separate times. Not one of those engines has ever let me down mid-job. One more, and this one costs you nothing but 30 seconds of standing still. Before you buy anything used, ask the seller to start it cold. First thing, before it's warmed up. Stand there and just listen. A healthy Honda or Kawasaki settles into a smooth, even idle within a few seconds, and holds it there. If it stumbles, surges up and down, or needs 3 pulls and a prayer, that engine has been sitting neglected, or it's got a carburetor problem that somebody hoped you wouldn't notice. Then look at the exhaust while it idles. A little haze on a cold start is normal, especially on a cool morning. Thick blue smoke that doesn't clear after a minute means it's burning oil past worn piston rings, and that engine is already on its way out no matter what the seller tells you about how good it runs, or how many new parts he says he just put on it. Here's the bigger picture, because this isn't really about mowers. Added up over 10 years, and the family buying a new consumer mower every 3 or 4 years has spent more money, not less, than the guy who found one good used commercial deck once and kept it running. More money, more Saturdays lost standing over a dead engine instead of with their kids, more trips back to the same store that sold them the problem in the first place. I know what some of you are thinking right now. That used commercial mower costs more upfront than the shiny one at the store, and that's true, it usually does. But you're not buying a mower every 3 years anymore after that. You're buying one time, and then you're done buying mowers for a decade or longer. Spread that upfront cost out over 10 years of cutting grass, and it comes out cheaper than new plastic every 3 summers. And that's before you even count the Saturdays you got back. There's a safety piece too that people don't think about until it matters. A spindle with play in it, a deck that's already hairline cracked. That's how you get a thrown blade or a sudden failure at the worst possible moment. Not just an inconvenience, but a real hazard. Buying heavy isn't just about saving money. It's about the machine doing exactly what you expect it to do, every single time you pull the cord. There's a piece nobody talks about either, and it's the pile of dead mowers sitting at the curb every spring, one from almost every house on the street. Engine seized, deck rusted through, hauled off to sit in a landfill for the next few hundred years, because it was never built to be fixed in the first place, only replaced. A machine built the other way, the commercial deck and the Japanese engine, doesn't end up at the curb. It gets sold to the next guy, or handed down, or repowered one more time and kept running. That's not nothing. My nephew is 19 years old now, out running his own little mowing route on Saturday mornings with the same walk behind I helped him find 3 summers back. Used commercial deck Kawasaki engine cost him less than a new consumer mower would have. In 3 summers of running that route, he has never once had to cancel on a customer because his mower wouldn't start on him. That's the whole argument right there. Better than anything I could explain to you in words. The machine just works every single Saturday, and he never has to think about it. Every mechanic I know says some version of the same thing. Buy once. Buy heavy. Buy the machine built for the guy who mows lawns to feed his family, not the guy who mows his own yard twice a summer and then forgets about it in the shed. That machine will always outlast the one built to look good on an end cap for 90 days, and when you're ready to sell it, it'll still be worth real money instead of nothing at all. So here's what I want you to do tonight, before you even finish watching something else. Walk out to your own mower. Run a magnet along the deck. Press your thumb near the spindle mount and see if it gives. Grab the blade and check for wobble. Then come back here and tell me in the comments what you found, what brand you're running, and how old it is. I read every one of them. That question, what mechanics actually buy for their own yard, that's the whole video answered in one line if you want it short. We buy the deck built for the guy whose paycheck depends on it, and we bolt on the engine that guy trusts with his own name. Everything else in that store is just paint and a phone mount. Next time, I'm going to show you the $40 tool that tells you in about 5 minutes whether a used mower engine is actually worth buying, and the one number on that gauge that means you should turn around and walk straight back to your truck.